morning.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. For our welcoming hymn, we'll be singing Enter, Rejoice, and Come In, hymn number 361. You may rise in mind, body, or spirit and join us in singing. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
You may be seated. That song needs some choreography. I see everybody with the joy part doing this. Then they would probably do this, and the wrong song. Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation in Fullerton, California, an inclusive community dedicated to building a better world. Whoever you are, however you identify, whoever you love, we want this place to be a safe place for everyone. Love is at the core of everything that we do. So as you enter this sanctuary, let it be a safe sanctuary for all. UUCF acknowledges that this land is situated in the original ancestral homelands of the Ahachun and the Kizh and the Tongva peoples. May we have the humility and courage to help restore what has been broken and the wisdom to live into a new solidarity with indigenous communities and the earth. Before we begin the service, a couple of brief announcements. Following the worship service today, there will be a family camp meeting in the choir room. The choir room, okay? If you have already signed up or are interested in going to family camp, please join us for that meeting. Today is the last day to sign up for a Taste of Soul Matters. That is happening next Sunday at 1. This is an exciting opportunity for you to get a taste of what happens in our Soul Matters groups. There is a sign-up sheet at the welcome table. It is that time again. Our small group programs will begin in October and run through June of 2027. Small groups build community, strengthen relationships, and deepen your faith. Now is the time to sign up, be part of this program. Please see our weekly announcements in your emails. Please read those. A lot of work goes, I know it's really difficult to read announcements. We are trying to do something like a video of announcements with puppets or me standing on my head or something to make people listen or read them. So if you have any ideas on how to make it fun, please let me know. Puppet show always works well. Today, our social hour will be held in the narthex instead of the Chapman Lounge. Join us for treats and conversations. We also have our new to UU class at 1 o'clock in the Chapman Lounge. So, again, social hour is in the narthex, which is church speak for lobby. Also, our adopted family for the month of August. We need your help to support them. Again, they are not able to leave their house when it comes to safety from ICE. We are seeing ICE continue to show up in different places the next couple of months with what's going on with our Haitian refugees. Please keep them in your thoughts and give love and light and make your voice heard because this is going to be affecting so many people. They are a vital part of the workforce in Ohio, in Minnesota, And so we send our light and love to them. If you would like to sign up for our adopted family to provide food and supplies, please see Debbie Langenbacher, and you can sign up and make a difference. We've been doing this for a year now, and hopefully we can continue to do it until this nightmare ends. For more information on these and other happenings, look in your emails. Today, our caring listener is Debbie Langenbacher. You can speak to Debbie after the service if you have any concerns or would simply like someone to talk to. She was the one with the clipboard, very busy, but she is not too busy to sit and listen and be just someone present with you if you need someone to talk to. Pretty much everybody here is someone who's going to listen to you and welcome you if you need just someone to hear you out. Okay, we'll be sharing joys and sorrows a little later in the service. If you have a joy, sorrow, or concern, there are little pink slips in the back. Just go ahead and fill those out. It can be anonymous too. You can write down your joy, concern, or sorrow, and we will light a candle for you during our joys and concerns. If you are on Facebook or on Zoom, we're so glad that you are with us. Please get those joys, sorrows, and concerns in as soon as possible so that we can include you. Okay, 1 to 2 minutes. 1 to 2 minutes. Do I need a stopwatch to do that? To say hello to your friends and neighbors. All right, everyone. Let's go ahead and stand if you are willing and able and sing our hymn of the month. This is We Belong to One Another.
We belong to one another, to each other we are bound, as we build a world together, full of joy that we have found. What we are, we owe to others. When they need us, we respond. We belong to one another, and we hold a common bond. We rely on one another at the dawning of the days, when we learn from those around us how to live in loving ways. As we grow, we need each other, and the gifts that we can share. As our lives come to the ending, how we need each other's care. We give thanks to one another for each heart and hand and face. We are grateful for the blessings that infuse our lives in grace. May we offer our abundance as we're given, so we give. In our thanks for one another, may we help each other live.
You may be seated. I now invite Megan to come forward as we light the chalice. This is Changes Abound by Michelle Collins. We light this chalice in celebration of balance and change. Changes abound around us, within us, and between us. In our communities, our neighborhoods, and our beloved faith communities, changes abound. May we each find the balancing point we need as we move through our ever-changing world. The balance between the old and the new, the known and the unknown, the familiar and perhaps bold and risky possibilities that may be there waiting. Please join me in saying our unison affirmation that's coming up on the screen. This flame affirms the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. Love is the doctrine that we share. The quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve human need. Thus do we covenant with one another.
No short people jokes. You know, there aren't a lot of August holidays, but there is one. It's called Lunasa, or Lammas. And to ancient peoples, the yearly harvest was a reflection of the human circle of birth and death. The reaping of food crops was associated with the spiritual abundance that sustains the soul. Yet harvest times were also a sign of autumn's chill and winter's imminent harsh frosts. The Celtic peoples of centuries past acknowledged the season's first harvest with the festival of Lunasa, or Lammas, the feast of the first fruits. Celebrated on August 1st, it symbolized a turning point in the life cycle of Mother Earth. It was both a joyous celebration of plenty and a solemn wake for the decline of the potency of the sun god Lu, from which the festival takes its name. Lunasa is primarily a festival of transition, and thus presents a wonderful opportunity to consider how our lives have changed and will change. As you honor the cyclical nature of existence, reflect upon the new beginnings you are anticipating and the endings you are mourning. The fact that just as there is joy to be found in the sowing and reaping, each of life's phases is worthy of celebration. And now it is our custom to provide donations of non-perishable food and personal care items for Pathways of Hope, a local food bank. Please check the dates on your items, as we are unable to donate anything with an expired date. As the children come forward, they will collect the donations placed at the end of the rows. And now, the children and their teacher are invited to come forward for the time for all ages.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and on this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and on this we live.
Thank you, friends, for collecting all the many bags. That's fantastic. All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy August. It's very hot, so not happy about the heat, but you know, we're happy we're here together. Hello, would you like to sit by me? You are very welcome to. All right, so a few weeks ago, we, as our RE group, we were redoing our covenant for the summer curriculum and our summer session. So we were trying to write down together and brainstorm together of all the things we agree on, of how we want our class time to go and how we want to act towards each other, how we want to feel. And I believe it was you, Michael, who said a fantastic word. His first thing he says, we shall be harmonious, right? You remember that? And I was like, oh, that's so good. So I've been thinking about it ever since. And so I decided to do a whole thing about it. So thank you for the inspiration, Michael. And I like that we had extra music today because it just fits with the theme. So today I brought a fun prop. So when I say harmony, what does that mean to you guys first? That's okay. What do you think, Michael?
I think it means that everything's working smoothly and well.
That's a great. And then you have something to say?
First, my teacher has one of those. My teacher has one of those.
Yeah, cool. Then you're familiar.
And second, I think harmony means like peace or music.
Yeah, exactly. And Josie or Andrew?
It's like everyone working together to create peace.
Harmony means that we are like we're working together, I think, because I'm not that familiar with harmony.
I love it. Well, you will be more familiar now. But yeah, I heard some great keywords: working together, peace, and music. So yeah, the word harmony, we use it for music. So like our cordially yours friends, Miss Christine, our musicians in the house know it well. So it comes from a root word meaning like fit together or joint. And we think of it as being like, oh, beautiful sounds. Yes, Michael.
I believe harmony is the melody, but played like one note after.
Yeah, like the melody is like the main tune. And then the harmony is like when you play multiple things. Okay, you have a comment, Zayden?
Harmony connects to music harmony because like one note after another, we're like all notes and we're working together to make a whole song.
So exactly, they're on it, exactly. So the three things that I wanted to talk about, they've kind of touched on. So the first thing is that when we want to play a harmony, and that goes with literal harmony, like with music, you have to do it on purpose. It's intentional. If I just hit random stuff, it's not gonna sound that good. And it's not gonna go that well. I'm not gonna fill any concert halls with that kind of nonsense. So harmony is about, as a musician, you decide which notes sound good together, and you sing together, or when we have our chime choir, they have to do it intentionally on purpose. Follow the notes given or decide on the notes. Hold on. We'll play later in class. The second thing is that you have to practice. And so that goes with people too. So our covenant, we had to agree, we're gonna treat each other well, we're gonna work together peacefully. The second thing is we have to practice doing that. It's not easy. It doesn't come naturally all the time. Same with music. You know, when cordially, you can hold it. When cordially yours or the chime choir, they have practices. They don't all just show up and play the song perfectly. It doesn't happen. You have to practice because when it comes to music, our fingers make mistakes, our voices go wonky, like working together with other people, it's not always easy. And you have to get in tune with each other and you have to be in tune with the notes. And then the third thing about harmony that we're gonna talk about today is that it has to be renewed. It has to be renewed again and again. So like, Miss Christine, will you play a chord for us? Because that's louder than my little malimba.
Yeah.
And as she holds it, it fades. The music fades. Yes, she has a pedal that can help sustain it a little bit, but she can't play a whole song like that. And it sounds beautiful, but then it goes quiet. So the thing with harmony, with music, and with us as people is we have to decide over and over again to work together. We have to decide over and over again to choose to be a good community. We have to choose to help each other. We have to choose to fit together and make something beautiful and do something beautiful together. And I think that's a really important thing to remember, because sometimes in my mind I think, oh, harmony, it's like, oh, peace and love and hippies. And it's like, it's not just easy. It requires a lot of work. And because us as humans, we make mistakes, we have different opinions, we grow and we change, we hurt each other, you know, we're just imperfect. And so the thing that we can remember this week is that we can work in harmony, we just have to be intentional about it, we have to practice it with each other, and we have to commit to doing it over and over again. So thank you for the inspiration, and we will go play some music and have some adventure. So have a good service. Hold up for me.
Go with wisdom, go with wonder, go to greet our brand new day. Learn to see the light within you as we send you on your way. Go with wisdom, go with wonder, go to greet our brand new day. Learn to see the light within you as we send you on your way.
I have to tell you that one of our youngsters, Zane, was so excited that he was going to be able to carry the baskets for offering. And then he found out he had to go to a time for all eight or for RE. So Zane, you'll be able to do it sometime. He was so excited. And then he had to leave. So we appreciate our young people and their willingness to serve. Good job. Going to see Spider-Man today. Yeah, exciting there. Okay, it is time for our joys, our sorrows, and our concerns. We first light a candle for all the concerns of the larger world. For a mass shooting yesterday at an In-N-Out. For a larger war possibly breaking out in the Middle East, for our immigrant families, for our democracy in the midst of blatant lies and corruption. May this candle represent all those wishes and calls to action that are more than we can articulate in this space. First of all, a very happy birthday to Susan Chabron. Looking great at 23. We are so happy for you. Happy birthday. Another joy from Allison Daniels. This weekend, Gary and I joined a mixed chorus in Irvine called SoCal Mix. The group is fun and welcoming to all. I'm excited about this new musical adventure. If you love to sing and want to know more, ask us after the service. Thank you for that. This joy and concern from Shelby. I am so thankful for you and your care about my dad. Now it's my turn. I have a minor procedure on Thursday. Thank you for your prayers and well wishes. Shelby, we send you love and light and prayers for the doctors and nurses that they treat you with compassion that every patient deserves. Again, if you have a joy or concern and you want it to be anonymous, you can fill out the form. There are many people who are carrying lots of weight in their own lives, along with this continuous stress of the world. Know that even though some people may know about your problems, until you come to me and fill out a slip, I'm never going to mention it up here as respect for you. So know that this is a process where we take your privacy and make that very important, but also we want to lift you up if you would like that done. We now light one more candle for all the joys, concerns, and sorrows that remain unexpressed but are still held close to our hearts. Join me in saying our joys and sorrows reading. We join you in celebrating your joys. May you feel our love and compassion for your sorrows and concerns, for all that is spoken and unspoken. May the caring of our beloved community sustain us all.
For our next hymn, we'll be singing hymn number 1009, Meditation on Breathing. You may rise in mind, body, or spirit and join us in singing. When I breathe in,
When I breathe out, I'll breathe out loud. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out, I breathe out love.
As we close our final message on See No Stranger, a memoir and manifesto of revolutionary love, we have one last sick prayer as we have been following the faith and journey of social activist Valarie Kaur. And it has been such a treat to have Katya bless us with these prayers each week that we have done these messages. So this is our last as we meditate or pray together.
In the realm of karma, the word is power. No one else dwells there except the warriors of great power, the spiritual heroes. They are totally fulfilled, imbued with the Lord's essence. Karma kanda ki pani chore, tite horna koi hore, tite chod mahal balasure, tin mera maraya parpure. Myriads of sitas are there, cool and calm in their majestic glory. Their beauty cannot be described. Neither can death nor deception come to those within whose minds the Lord abides. Tite sito sita mahima mahi, ta ke rupa na katna jahi, na ohe mare na taga jahi, jinake rama vase manamahi. The devotees of many worlds dwell there. They celebrate, their minds are imbued with the true Lord. In the realm of truth, the formless truth, Lord abides. Having created creation, he watches over it. By his glance of grace, he bestows happiness. There are planets, solar systems, and galaxies. Chinnakiram vase manamahi, tite bhagata vase kailoa. Karahe ananda sacha manasoe, sachakanda vase nirankar, karkar veke nadara nahal, titekanda mandala varabanda. If one speaks of them, there is no limit, no end. There are worlds upon worlds of his creation. As he commands, so they exist. He watches over all, and contemplating the creation, he rejoices. O Nanak, to describe this is as hard as steel. Jeko kate na ta antana ante, tite loa loa akare, jiva jiva hukam tive tivakare, veke veke se kare vichare, O Nanak tana kara hasare. Shalok. Air is the guru, water is the father, earth is the mother, great mother of all. Day and night are the two nurses in whose lap all the world is at play. Good deeds and bad deeds are the record. It's read out in the presence of the Lord Dharma. According to their own actions, some are drawn closer and some are driven farther away. Those who have meditated on the Nam, the name of the Lord, and departed after having worked by the sweat of their brows, O Nanak, their faces are radiant in the court of the Lord, and many are saved along with them. Shalom. Pavana Guru Pani Pita Mata Tarat Mahat Divasarat Duitaya Daya Kele Sagala Jagat Changyaya Buri Baya Vache Dharmahadure Karmiya Po Apani Ke Nare Kadu जिन्नी नाम दियाइया आए मसकत गाल नानक ते मुख उजले केती जुती नाल वाहिगुरु जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह
The next song is Keep Breathing by Ingrid Michaelson.
The storm is coming, but I don't mind. People are sleeping. I close my blinds. All that I know is I'm breathing. I want to change the world instead. I sleep. I want to believe in more than you and me. But all that I know is I'm breathing. All I can do is I'm breathing. All we can do is keep breathing now. All we can do is keep breathing now.
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
This is our last will be our last reading from the book, See No Stranger, a memoir and manifesto of revolutionary love by Valarie Kaur. She says, love is a form of sweet labor, fierce, bloody, imperfect, and life-giving. A choice we make over and over again. Love can be taught, modeled, and practiced. It engages all our emotions. Joy is the gift of love. Grief is the price of love. Anger protects that which is loved. And when we think we have reached our limit, wonder is the act that returns us to love. Revolutionary love is the choice to labor for others, for our opponents and ourselves, in order to transform the world around us. It begins with wonder. You are a part of me I do not yet know. It is not a formal code or prescription, but an orientation to life that is personal and political. Sustained by joy, loving only ourselves is escapism. Loving only our opponents is self-loathing. Loving only others is ineffective. All three practices together make love revolutionary, and revolutionary love can only be practiced in community.
So, a few weeks ago, my husband and Michael he found what may have been one of the most romantic restaurants in Puerto Vallarta, called La Capella. It's a wonderful Italian place. It was perched on the side of a cliff overlooking the ocean. The sun was melting into the horizon. He picked the perfect time for us to see the sunset. Oh. There was a beautiful Catholic church steeple rising above the town with the beautiful ocean behind it. There were two violinists going around and playing to us. The servers wore tuxedos. It was the kind of place where people spoke in hushed voices because nobody wanted to interrupt the beauty. And then an American happened. This guy walks in wearing a tank top, flip-flops, and enough confidence to power a small nation. He sat down with two friends and immediately began redecorating the evening. Nice way of saying it. Clang, silverware hits the floor, crumbs everywhere, and then he answers a FaceTime call on speaker. Now, everyone in Puerto Vallarta knows about his cousin's boat, his fantasy football team. He was doing some kind of sports gaming as he ate his lasagna, and someone named Brenda who still hasn't gotten over it. I don't know what that means, but so when the lasagna arrived, he didn't eat it so much as he had a challenge with it in hand-to-hand combat. With sauce flying, breadsticks, their casualties, and the poor violinists, they looked like they were reconsidering every career decision that led to them to that moment. And I kept looking at Michael thinking, are there cameras somewhere? Are we being punked? Did Carnival Cruise accidentally drop someone off at our table? I love Carnival Cruise. I'll be honest, my first prayer or wish wasn't exactly pastoral. In my southern words, I wanted to say, bless your heart, which if you know what that saying means, it is not a blessing. And then almost against my will, Valarie Kaur's words loaded into my head. You are a part of me I do not yet know. And I really wanted to say, and I never want to. I've had some people come up to me and say, wow, she raises the bar really high. Right? I could have made it ruin the evening instead of being curious about him and his poor girlfriend who was giving him the side eye the whole time. This stuff is hard. And that's why we're here, is to love through challenging time and challenging people. It is easy to love humanity as an idea. It's much harder to love the human being who is interrupting your peace, challenging your patience, or reminding you of everything that irritates you. The real spiritual work doesn't happen when we are gazing at the perfect sunset in peace. It happens when someone is loudly eating lasagna beside us and we are invited to remember that even they belong to the same human family. I don't think any of us gets that perfect or right. I certainly do not. But it is a lighthouse that we continue to move toward. It is a practice and a decision, just like Joy taught our kids today, over and over and over. And that's where this entire sermon series has been leading us, because if we're going to heal our communities, our nation, our world, we have to begin where love is hardest. We have to learn to see even the person who gets on our last nerve, as in Valarie Kaur's words, a part of me I do not yet know. This morning, we come to the final sermon of a really deep and challenging book. And if this series has stirred something in you, if it's unsettled you, inspired you, frustrated you, cracked something open in your spirit, then I want to encourage you to read the book. Because what we have done here has only brushed the surface of Valarie Kaur's story. This book has many great instructions and ideas, but her stories and the challenges that she has gone through are unbelievable. And trigger warning, there are some SA mentions in here. So if you do pick up the book, know that that is in here. A sick woman raising a family in the aftermath of 9/11. That's Valarie. A civil rights lawyer standing in the long shadow of hate crimes and white nationalism. A mother learning from midwives that labor is not only biological, but prophetic, a metaphor written into the body of the world. A woman carrying grief, but also fierce hope in the same breath, in the same body at the same time. Her life is painful and extraordinary, and in many ways it becomes a mirror held up to ourselves and to the United States itself. Today's message is called Courage to Breathe, to Push, and to Transition. And perhaps there's never been a more urgent moment to ask what it means for a nation to labor toward rebirth. She asks, are we in the womb? Are we in the tomb? I choose to believe we are in the womb. But, of course, we know something in this country is not well. We are a sick nation. Spoiler alert, we always have been. We're not merely divided, not merely polarized, something deeper, something more corrosive, something that feels like a sickness moving beneath the surface of the body. And when a wound is ignored long enough, it does not fade. Those of you who watch Dr. Pimple Popper know it festers. I love those videos. It is my ASMR. And then Michael's like, use your own YouTube channel because these things are popping up all over my feed and making me sick. An untreated abscess does not heal because we insist it's fine. A boil does not disappear because we cover it with slogans and ceremony and call it unity. Infection buried beneath the skin does not stay contained. It spreads quietly at first until the whole body begins to ache. And I wonder if that is where we are now, because America has spent centuries refusing to fully confront the truths that actually shaped us. I mean, we can go through it. Genocide against indigenous people, slavery, theft of land, degradation of women, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, the criminalization of black and brown bodies, the worship of wealth over human dignity, the persistent violent myth that some lives are more fully human than others. And instead of confession or atonement, or instead of repair or slow and sacred work of truth, we've chosen a myth. I'm going to use the term we as a collective we, okay? This is not a shame game. But through patriotism, the United States has said we are exceptional, we're number one, we're a shining city on a hill, and Valarie Kaur names this with piercing clarity. She writes, America too had committed assaults on people it claimed to care about. America too had told itself a story of its own goodness. America too had suppressed memories and histories of the traumas it had caused. And when a wound is never cleaned, it does not stay local. It spreads into everything. And we can trace it through most of our current years, the rage after 9/11, the wars, the surveillance, the nationalism, the fear that thickened in the air. And then came Barack Obama's election. And for a moment, many wanted to believe history had been transcended, that racism had somehow expired because a black man stood in the White House. But white supremacy does not vanish when it is embarrassed. It reorganizes, it mutates, it waits. And then, as we know, came the big swing back. Conspiracy theories and birtherism and open nativism and authoritarian longing, politics fueled by division, humiliation, and fear. Then COVID arrived and exposed what had already been true, what had already been forming beneath the surface. The pandemic did not create inequality. It revealed it. It did not create cruelty, it uncovered it. Didn't invent disinformation, it showed how deeply we had become vulnerable to it all. And in the midst of it all, so many people were simply trying to breathe between one crisis and the next. Kaur writes, new executive orders, policies, and assaults rained down on us so hard and so fast that we barely had time to breathe between them. Now we find ourselves in a moment where those who once attacked the state capitol, those who sought to overturn an election through violence and intimidation, are not only being normalized, but may be rewarded of winning a lottery, of being pardoned, and then paid. Don't worry, there's hope coming. We're starting really low and we're going to climb, okay? Send you off with hope. But if we cannot tell the truth about that, then something essential in democracy begins to rot. Because healing never begins with denial. I'm going to say that one more time. Healing never begins with denial. I'm going to say it for myself. Healing never begins with denial. Healing begins with the truth. And in the Sikh tradition, and in so many religious traditions and wisdom traditions, liberation is never imagined as an escape from history, but a transformation through it. We can't go around or above or below. We have to go through it. There's no skipping the reckoning. There's no bypassing grief. There's only the long necessary journey through it. And this is where the difficulty begins for all of us as we go through it. But we don't go through it alone. We go through it together in communities like this, especially for those who have been taught that goodness is the same as comfort, especially for those of us who have been taught that being nice is the same as being just, especially for those who have been taught to avoid discomfort rather than endure it in service of truth. We were taught to think of racism as individual meanness rather than structural inheritance. In our history classes, in school, we were taught to think of history as something behind us rather than something that is still breathing through our institutions, our schools, our prisons, our healthcare systems, our politics. But Kaur's message is avoidance has not healed us. It has only deepened the infection. Social justice advocate Brian Stevenson reminds us, he's very hopeful as an African-American lawyer and social justice activist. He says, each of us is more than the worst thing we've ever done. And that is true for us, to have grace for one another as imperfect humans, but it also somehow is true of nations. America is more than the worst thing it has ever done. But it cannot become more than that until it tells the truth about what it has done. Kaur writes, to promise the non-repetition of harm would require nothing less than transitioning the nation as a whole. Transitioning the nation as a whole. There's something almost unbearable in that phrase because transition is never surface level. It is not cosmetic. It is not performance. It is not just adjustment. It changes our identity from the bottom up. It is the crossing from one reality into the other, and every crossing demands something be released. Every birth carries grief within it, which is why Kaur turns us toward the wisdom of the midwife, the doula. Breathe and push. Not as opposites, not as alternatives, but as a rhythm of life, because anyone who has witnessed labor or has gone through it knows that there are moments when the body trembles at the edge of its own capacity. Moments when fear rises like a tide, moments when pain seems to argue that continuation is impossible. Words like, get away from me, you did this to me, I'm gonna give birth to this myself. How many of you did that? And the midwife does not deny the pain, right? They study it, they name it, they breathe with it, and then they call the body forward again to push, not away from the pain, but through it, into it, beyond it. And perhaps that is where America finds itself now. Not in death, but in labor. And there is not an epidural to get us through this. It's hard. That's why we don't do it alone. And labor does not move in straight lines. Kaur writes, if we see the story of America as one long labor, then we have a different view. Progress during birthing labor is cyclical, not linear. That changes everything because so many of us are exhausted by the feeling that we're moving backward, that every gain is undone, that every step forward is met with collapse. But contractions are not the opposite of progress. Sometimes they are its deepest sign. So the question becomes almost unbearable in its simplicity. Again, is the darkness of the tomb or of the womb? Is it the falling of Rome or the resurrection after the crucifixion? Whatever you believe, these metaphors are informative and helpful for us to make meaning about our existence. Because if this is only death, then despair makes sense, withdrawal makes sense, numbness makes sense. But if this is labor, then something else is required of us entirely. We are not spectators. We are midwives. And midwives do not stand at a distance from the pain. They enter it. They hold it. They study what is shaking. They speak truth into the room where breath is becoming life, which means this is not only a personal spiritual journey, it is a collective calling on all of us. And Kaur tells us where it begins. Seeing no stranger begins in wonder, and that's where we began this whole series. Wonder, that quiet, radical turning of the heart toward another human being with the recognition, you are a part of me that I do not yet know. In a world, in an earthly realm built on separation, we are all separate. This idea, you are a part of me I do not know, means we are connected with a spiritual lens. And that is revolutionary, but it also considers us to enter into a spiritual depth of seeing the world differently. Because systems of oppression depend on abstraction, they depend on distance, they depend on the ability to turn human beings into categories, into threats, into statistics, into problems. But wonder, on the other hand, refuses that reduction. Wonder restores face and story and breath. Wonder does not stay stagnant. It moves. It grieves, and through that grief, when it is shared, it becomes solidarity. Kaur writes, those we grieve with, those we sit with and weep with, are ultimately those we organize with and advocate for. This is the movement of love when it becomes real. And in the book, there are different chapters: wonder, grief, solidarity, breath, push, and transition. And somewhere along the way, we must admit how often we have wanted transformation without a cost. And we've wanted to reconcile without doing the work of repairing. Unity without truth, and peace without accountability. But love that does not confront injustice is not love at all. I mean, it's a Hallmark card dressed in sacred language. Real love changes what is possible in the world. It redistributes dignity. It interrupts harm. It listens where silence has been enforced. It stands where others have been pushed out. And in our UU tradition, that means faith cannot remain an idea we hold. It must become a way we live, where service is our prayer, it's the way we live, how we vote, how we organize, how we show up for one another, and how we refuse the normalization of cruelty. You all know that sometimes I'm speaking to the choir, but this is to help us to continue to go, to get this spiritual refill that we need, to know, first of all, you are not alone in this, and that we can do this. But we got to do it together, because democracy is not self-sustaining. We do not have Spider-Man to come in and swoop in and save us. Well, with Tom Holland, I'd like sometimes for him to swoop in and save me. Zendaya would not be happy with it. Democracy is not self-sustaining. It requires our breath, it requires our courage, and courage is not a single act. Again, like Joyce said, it is a rhythm of returning. And I know we're tired because of the trauma and the fear and the crisis and the headlines and the truth socials and the attacks that are called off and put back on, and that is on purpose. So we have to balance ourselves with self-care and then do the work. And then rest and then do the work. And then come here and eat together and then do the work. And the wisdom then returns, steady as breath itself, that rhythm. Breathe and push, breathe in community and push towards justice, breathe in joy, push against despair, breathe in the memory that another world is possible, push against the lie that cruelty is inevitable, and then slowly and faithfully transition from denial into truth, from innocence into accountability, from isolation into solidarity, from nationalism into beloved community, from me into we. Brian Stevenson reminds us again, we all share the condition of brokenness. But again, brokenness is not the end of the story. Guru Nanak goes to the river, disappears. Everybody thinks, where is he? He's gone, he's dead. 3 days later, he comes out enlightened. Same story with Jesus. In the tomb, crucified, in the tomb, resurrected 3 days later. Jonah, swallowed by a fish. Well, it was a mammal, you all. Swallowed by a whale 3 days later. Do you see the beauty in that? The consistency, the holiness, the sacredness that we can attach to that is not going to go in 3 days. Got about 92 days of pushing and voting. But in this collective labor, something new is born. Not a nation already finished, not a city already shining, but people still becoming and trembling and learning and laboring towards something we have not yet fully seen. And so the invitation remains tender and demanding all at once, not to turn away, to numb ourselves or romanticize, but to become midwives. To breathe deeply enough to stay present, to push courageously, to transition faithfully. A nation honest enough to tell the truth. A nation brave enough to repair what has been harmed. A nation loving enough to be transformed. Laboring in love, as Kaur says, is how the world is, trigger warning, born again. Just because one faith has hijacked some messages does not mean that we can't take them back as hope for ourselves. May we have the courage to breathe and push, and the courage to face the truth and transition together. Amen. At UUCF, we embrace the possibility of a world filled with peace, acceptance, justice, love, and joy. By our financial commitment, we help this congregation through its maintenance, mission, and ministries, making those possibilities real in a challenging world. If you are new here, if you're a visitor, don't worry about it. We're just glad you're here. And everybody else, a basket is being brought around the sanctuary, and there are payment options on the screen, and we thank you for your generosity. I had a benediction written down, but I had some people come up to me and say, Rob, this is really hard. What Valarie Kaur is saying really is difficult to do. How do I talk to my family and interrupt dinners? There's a time and a place to do this. And see no stranger means probably doing this with people that you don't know sometimes. And also to understand that your safety is a priority. And family systems are necessary for us to move along. Miguel de la Torre, one of my favorite theologians that I've talked about a lot, says, do not use your energy trying to fix people who are going down the wrong path. Do not use your energy to fix the oppressor. In that situation, use that energy to help the oppressed. I think that brings things in full circle. This is a dance, and we're going to fall down and step on each other's toes, and this is not going to be easy because labor is not easy, but we breathe and push so that we can transition. In knowing that we are not in a tomb, but that we are in a womb, being born anew. Go now in peace. We now extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts wherever we may go. And so we start with the Sikh blessing, Waheguru. Amen. Shalom. Salam. Namaste. And blessed be. For those of you in the new to UU class, we invite you during the hymn to go out into the lobby and get your food first so we can start the new to UU class very soon at 1 o'clock. And now we sing our final song, Oneness of Everything. Please rise in mind, body, or spirit.
Thank you all for being with us today. Please join us for our food and fellowship.